quite possibly the best cup of coffee I've had in a while. Definitely this year so far. Just hitting the spot just right this morning. The request for said coffee, the lady that prepared the beverage, I do believe did it to absolute perfection. Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the channel, and today's topic of discussion: how to overcome imposter syndrome. If at all possible, how do you overcome imposter syndrome? We'll be discussing that briefly today, hoping that it helps someone out there, and also taking our customary walk, a riverside walk, a gentle stroll, a meander along this beautiful estuary pathway, and we'll be doing it together. And it's sunny, which always helps. Yeah, so this imposter syndrome that's now being used more and more and more, just like the word legend is associated to almost everyone, it seems, genius. But I have to say, the first time I heard the term imposter syndrome, I could definitely relate to it. Being born and raised in a working class area of East London sets its own challenges when you're going out into the world of work, or you're applying for jobs, sitting down for interviews. Sorry about the wind. Let's try this further along, shall we? Where we can get some shield, a little bit of shieldage from said wind. Yes, the class system, it seems that it'll always be ever present. I don't think it'll change that much, especially in the immediate future. I think we are told that people are more inclusive and stuff like that, but I see it still where people are judged by where they're from, their upbringing, this, that and the other, and status and wealth and financial position and all that kind of thing. Not the person. The person isn't being assessed as much as their background. We're already at the point, getting ready to turn back, but it's so windy today. It's really nice. It's not cold, but I need to stop making it back. I need to find somewhere more enclosed to go to out the wind just over the top. And then within seconds it goes as calm as this. Oh no, it's picking up again. And I remember someone that I knew years ago now, but post-college, they applied for a job with a big financial company in London. I won't name the company, but it's one of the big five, bit of a clue. And he went through the application process, got the first interview, went and did that, it was successful, then got called back to a second stage, which was a group session with the other applicants. Had to carry out scenarios, and he later found out that he thrived in those scenarios, and he was actually showing the strongest leadership qualities out of the whole group. But when it comes to the decision to take him on, and this is where it gets interesting, when it came to the point that they offered him the role, the post, they said, we'd love to take you on, you've shown all the skills required for the position. We thought you did absolutely amazing in all the scenarios. Your Q&A session with us was outstanding. And we do want to offer you the position. on one condition. Can you change the way you talk because you sound too common? You sound too cockney, and that just won't work in this company. Now, he did his best to change, and he got the job and did that. But I just think, we try and fool ourselves that equality is on the agenda, but for certain places, I could have understood if he turned up and he had, I don't know, he was wearing inappropriate attire for the position, so his dress code was out or questionable. Could understand that, but simply because of where he's from and how he spoke, that was a condition that he had to change, otherwise no job. Now, over the years, as we often do with old friends, we lose contact, but I wonder how much, if at all, that experience for him still plays part in his life today, with decisions or with being invited to events, for example, and whether he's overcome with this term we know as imposter syndrome. And also we've heard it in so many other walks of life. I remember a British comedian a couple of years ago was talking about being invited to Buckingham Palace to a garden party thing, and he's from a working class background, and he was fine until he turned up and he was surrounded by everyone else that had been invited, and he was almost on the verge of a panic attack because he felt so out of place and that he shouldn't be there. Again, that class system, that underlying system that still plays a massive part in everyone's lives. In many other areas, relationships, marrying into a family that, isn't necessarily the same class as your own or same beliefs, whether those beliefs be religious, political, or even sport related. I guess everyone feels out of place to an extent, for one reason or another at some point during their lifetime. And for me, the whole point of this topic was to talk about how to overcome it. Do you ever overcome it? That's one of the questions. How to manage it is probably a better term. And I think the way I've done it over time is, without sounding negative or anything like that, but I no longer care what people around me think in a negative sense. And what do I mean by that? So, for example, you go into a business meeting surrounded by people and it's your turn to speak. All eyes are on you. The first thing you do is what? Shrivel, withdraw, look for a corner to hide. And that's the norm. That happens with people. Some people it doesn't happen to, but a lot of people it does. And you think in that moment, I'm never going to be able to overcome this. But then, if you subsequently go into that room with the attitude of, I've got this, I know what I'm doing, and feel so positive and enthusiastic about your own abilities, straight away, you're already improving your position. Here he is. Position in way of state of mind, confidence. And you need to build up a number of times for it to really set in and sink into the brain, that the brain no longer reacts in a stressed way, that it becomes the norm. It's an everyday thing. So have respect for those around you, but have respect also for yourself. And I do hope that advice helps somebody. And if you're saying, it's easier said than done, it is. But hopefully, if you apply yourself to it, you reap the rewards going forward. And imposter syndrome will become even less of a term, and if people are more accepting of themselves more than anything else and believe in themselves. So I don't think I've actually answered the title of this video, which is how to overcome imposter syndrome. I think it's a question we all need to ask, but I can only advise on my own feelings, my own thoughts on the subject, but I hope in some way that's helped. Be strong in your convictions and be proud of who you are. And are we all not imposters? You know, if you think about it externally, if you look out, if an individual looks out at others and they feel the imposter encroaching on the group, but surely everyone feels like that at times. Or maybe not everybody, but I guarantee a lot would think that way in all walks of life. Even the pirate on the pirate ship. Arr. Yeah, so I don't really know where I was going with this as a subject, but I didn't want to do anything scripted or chat GPT. I just wanted to do it naturally. As thoughts come to mind, relay them to you to listen, and whoever else may watch this video in the future, this upload. And if it helps someone, then, as I've said before, we're doing something right. Look how beautiful it is today. Look out there. Between the twigs. Sorry, that was a poor view. Aha. Such a lovely day. As we progress on our walk, our river walk, in the sunshine at last. And I do hope you enjoy the content so far and the content that's due to come going forward. I've also got some other ideas, which I'll talk more about in due course, but that's going to be probably pre-summer. Probably not within the next week or so, but it is something exciting that's going to come up that I'm going to include on an intermittent basis on the channel, and I hope you enjoy that and find that entertaining. But yeah, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it, and there's more uploads coming this week, this one included obviously, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching everyone. Cheers.